Time to see what the wizards are up to.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everyone. How's it going? It's been a crazy day for us so far. We got up a lot earlier than we're used to getting up during the COVID quarantine because it is the first day of school here in Massachusetts. And we have most of our children are here streaming remotely, doing Zoom calls right now with their teachers or Google Classroom. So we have 6 live streams happening right now.
So hopefully we got the bandwidth for all this.
The internet doesn't break. And then tomorrow we'll have an additional device or 2 when our 6-year-old is at home. She's doing some days in school and some days here. So yeah, it's been a crazy day. So today on the live stream, I wanted to give a quick update on the Sorcerer Now Kickstarter. I know we had questions last week and we didn't have all the answers, and Rob might show a little bit of Endbringer stuff. Yeah. I think I've seen him going through some cards this morning. And then we wanted to talk about, share some Star Realms spoilers, and also talk about the next expansion that's coming in the Star Realms app. And of course, we'll answer any questions. Yes, we are working on a Hero Realms app. I'll just answer that right up front.
Our weekly Hero Realms app, that question, yes.
Question that comes in every week. You know it'll still come in because someone will come late. Of course. So on the Sorcerer Now, the good news is I know last week we said we weren't sure if we were shipping the parts that were needed to the different regions, freight or sea, ocean or air, and they've all been air shipped and they're all in each of the regions. Like in Asia, it's still going through some processing. But they've arrived in the regions. They're still being processed. They're not booked into inventory yet in each of the fulfillment partners. But good news is that means that will be relatively soon when things will be shipping out. In the U.S., things will be shipping out next week. That would be for U.S., Canada, and rest of world ships from Quartermaster. And I think Canada takes a little bit longer. They prepare everything, ship it up to Canada, and then it ships from within Canada so that
it's like a 2-part process. Yeah, exactly.
So you don't get stuck with like the customs stuff or anything like that. And then for the other regions, we've been told late September, early October, because again, like they need to clear customs and things like that and be processed into inventory. And then, once they know we have everything, then it gets put into the shipping queue. So soon. In the next few weeks. So we're excited about that. So I just wanted to let everyone know about that. And that was for Sorcerer Now. That was for people who backed and didn't have the existing retail products that are available in stores today for Sorcerer and wanted to get those right away. And then the Sorcerer Endbringer, is still under development. So don't worry. If you didn't back the Sorcerer Now tier, nothing's shipping to you anytime.
It'll be a while before we do the pledge manager. We're still working on, the game. And speaking of working on the game, I'm very excited because I have a new toy. We got the EU team is done. Peter's done with the design for all the different Sorcerer Endbringer decks. So all the different nemesises, all the different hordes, all the different scenarios, and we've made the mock-ups of those and had those printed out at the local print shop. So I've got prototypes to play with. So we're officially handing off to the U.S. team for development on all those sets. So I have tons of cool Endbringer stuff. So one of the things I had mentioned previously was the aspect cards, which have the health for the bad guy on them. Initially, we only had one deck of those, and those were when you do enough damage, take one of those out, you flip it over, and then a a specific nasty thing occurs. And we had a set of those, so you'd shuffle them and put them out, and you'd have random effects occur. But one of the things that Peter and I discussed would be so much cooler if those were specific to the bad guy you were facing. So what we ended up doing was taking these guys and making specific ones for every single scenario and every single bad guy. So there's different effects that you'll get when you're facing the different bad guys. So every combination you make with the different nemesis, the different archetype, and the different scenario will have its own little deck that you get of these health cards, and you'll shuffle them up and put those out. So while you'll still be getting random ones, you'll be getting ones that are specifically custom to that nemesis, and that way we can like utilize the mechanics of that particular scenario, because each of these hordes has different mechanics. Each of the nemesis has different mechanics. So and the scenarios have specific things going on in them, so we can have those directly reference that stuff. So that was a really cool tweak. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about one of there's so much content here. We're certainly not gonna cover all of it, but I just wanted to.
We're gonna try to do another live play someday.
Oh yeah.
We're so good at it.
We have the Hypnos card here. He is one of the nemesis you can play against, and he has some really cool stuff going on where when you're playing him, you're dealing with he deals in the dream world. So you get these rift cards, and these guys split each of your battlefields in half. So half of the battlefields in the real world, and half of the battlefield is in the dream world. And Hypnos will be taking cards from your deck and removing them from the game. And when you get attacked in the dream world, cards are getting removed from the game. And they get put in a special void zone. And when your deck runs out, then all the cards that are in the void get removed from the game entirely, and you take damage from that. And while they're still in the void, there's ways you can get those cards back. But once your deck runs out, then those cards are removed forever, and you take direct damage equal to the cards removed. And then your discard pile gets shuffled back, creating a deck, and you end up getting, I don't think we can get a good shot of this, but you end up getting a trauma card, and the trauma card gives you like a permanent disability during the game. Like maybe when you gain omens, you take damage, or some other nasty effect that lasts throughout the game. And for each of these bad guys and each of the armies, each of the scenarios, there's all kinds of cool mechanics like this. So just wanted to give you a little peek into how the various mechanics for the guys work. So I'm very excited. We're going to be doing a lot of testing and tweaking, and getting the play balance just right. But that's where we're at on the Endbringer set itself. Peter and his team are still working on all the. We unlocked a bunch of additional packs as stretch goals, and they are finishing those up, and they'll be handing those off to the U.S. team shortly for the development phase. So we'll have a bunch of back and forth between my team and Peter's team, getting things balanced just so, and then moving on to getting file prep and that sort of thing. So
when is the mobile app coming out?
Oh boy.
That's a real question.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. We are not doing any work on a Sorcerer digital app currently, although I don't know if you wanted to talk about stuff we're doing for conventions. I don't know.
Oh, well, yes, I will actually. We are looking at, we're in the process of, we have someone evaluating putting our games on Tabletop Simulator or Tabletopia. It's looking like we'll probably be going with Tabletop Simulator, but so we're working with the team over at Envoy to help us get our games up there. We actually have someone who created a version of Sorcerer from the community, so we're evaluating that. That might be a good starting point for us. It actually looked pretty good, but we need to go through it before we share publicly. So I hope that in the next, it'll probably be a few weeks, but between now and when Spiel Digital comes along, we'll have Sorcerer. Would like to have Sorcerer, probably Hero Realms, the base game, and we won't be putting Star Realms up because we have a very fully functional app. But we wanted to be able to demo and Kapow is another one that we're actually starting with Kapow because, as we mentioned last week, we're going to be kickstarting that game as our next Kickstarter. So we want to make sure that reviewers and people that are interested in the game can play that one. But we have multiple people that'll be working on this project. So I hope that you'll be able to play with each other online, within a few weeks time frame. It's not, the same thing as an app.
Yeah. We know it's a little clunky, but it's an app.
It is clunky. I would love to hear comments if people love, hate, any of the platforms that are out there, particularly Tabletopia or Tabletop Simulator, because those are the two that we'd be most likely to use. And we may, in some cases, put a game on both, but we'll probably start with one platform, put all of our games on one platform. So, any feedback on those would be great from the community as players. And I hope that's something that was exciting to people. But yeah, I would love to see a Sorcerer app as well. It does take quite a bit of time to develop an app, and right now the digital team is primarily focused on the Hero Realms app and the Star Realms app. We continue to have releases coming out, but those are our two primary areas of focus right now. But I did actually just get asked this morning about Sorcerer digital. So we need to work on, as we progress, we need to figure out, okay, what are our priorities? So, it's good to know that there's interest from people. So, if other people are interested, let us know. It's helpful to us to know that you're interested. Let me just see if there's any other questions on that. Any chance we could get an English Ace of Aces Star Realms promo? So I'm guessing this is the French card. I'm not sure which card you're referring to, but I know that there was a card done in French, and I don't know what the English translation was. So, but maybe if you can send me a picture of what you mean, not necessarily here, but just separately, you can message me, Debbie@whitewizardgames.com. Then I can answer that question, because I'm not familiar with a card called Ace of Aces, but I'd love to if possible.
As a general rule, anything that shows up in exclusive promo form. So there are convention promos that you can only get by going to a con, or as Dave was mentioning, there was a French promo in celebration of Star Realms getting nominated for a big award in France, and so basically. Sometimes there are promo cards which we're like, okay, this promo is for this event, and that's it. However, those cards will get new artwork and then reprinted. Then the same goes for Kickstarter promos. Eventually, like we're talking a couple of years down the road, we will create new artwork for them and put them into future promo packs. So it may be a while on that particular card, but eventually it will be in a promo pack. In the meantime, you can try and find one from someone who collected the original.
Yeah, I'll check and make sure that's on our promo list. So if you have any more details, let me know. Okay, James just wanted to know about the Hero Realms app, so we've answered his question. Great. Complete checklist. So I think
Ooh,
what
this
I think
sounds like
what
something up Adam's.
Adam's probably like, yes, I'm working on this. I've already started working on this because I knew you'd ask for it. Adam's on our team and he's awesome at sort of keeping everything organized. So I think what you're asking for is by product line. Here's every single product we have for the product line. So correct me if I'm wrong, but so we do have some of that internally. We don't have it in a format to like share externally, but we've talked about doing that. So right now we have it as it's a giant list, and we do share it with distributors and retailers. We call it our master SKU list, and it has everything, but it's not quite organized in a way for consumers to use it, in my opinion.
We also have internal documentation like that for the promo cards. Like here's every alt-art and promo that we've ever done with anybody, and what it was used for, and is it, what exclusivity does it have, etc. So we've got all that stuff internally. We could potentially make something that was outward facing.
We've talked about it. I think we'd like to. So,
but it's just a matter of juggling all the various tasks.
And the promo card list, I think we were getting ready to make. I think it was at a point where it was close to being ready to be shared publicly, but I'll follow up and check with Adam on that. A couple things we do have, just so that you know what resources we do have. If you go to whitewizardgames.com/retailer, we have our digital catalog. So in there, it lists by product line what all of our products are. So that's a pretty good resource. Also on Geeks Under Grace, there is a Star Realms buyer guide and a Hero Realms buyer guide. Derek Thompson put these together, did a fantastic job. I actually asked him if he could update the Star Realms one when we had some new things come out, and to create the Hero Realms one, if he was interested, and he did, and those are great resources. I don't know if Katie has the links handy to post them below, but if you Google Geeks Under Grace, Star Realms Buyer's Guide, or Hero Realms Buyer's Guide, it'll bring you to that blog post, and those are really good resources. Yeah. But we'll look at doing like the full checklist by product line, because I agree that like we have a lot of offerings. So we want to make sure you have everything. Also, if you buy every universal storage, the giant storage boxes have the little dividers for each of the expansions. So I'm not saying you need those, but when people buy those, they're like, oh, I'm missing this expansion, that they know exactly what they don't have, because you get a divider for each expansion that we have available. So that's one way that people organize their entire collections. All right. Oh, hi, Rockford. You have the cutest baby pictures that you post of your baby. I really love looking at her.
Debbie's a sucker for all the baby pictures.
Do you have some kind of feedback community loop? So our community feedback loop, well, this is probably our best community feedback loop right now. We started doing these weekly live streams when COVID started. We were getting a lot of feedback at conventions. Generally, we go to a lot of conventions. We personally work the floor all day and get a lot of feedback. Our team gives us a lot of feedback, and that helps us a ton. We also go to retailer shows, so like distributor shows where retail stores come and give us feedback, and that's really great. But here you can ask questions, you can give us feedback live. So I would say this is the best way to give us feedback in real time. So we know, okay, this is what people are looking for right now. But other places where you can give feedback are, a lot of people will email into support@whitewizardgames.com, and then our support team routes that to the right people. So sometimes it's, questions about, oh, I'm an artist and I want to work for you, or maybe you should think about doing this, or I don't like XYZ, whatever your, feedback is. That's always a good way if you prefer email. And then in social media, we have groups for each of the games. So there is like a Sorcerer official group, a Hero Realms official group, and a Star Realms fan created group, which we basically, if you're in there, you can always tag me. So people will tag me if it's something they want to make sure White Wizard Games sees. But like, we as a team go into these groups on various times. We're not in there every moment of every day. So that's why we created this, so that you could have a direct way to reach us and give us feedback if you wanted to. But that's one way. And the nice thing about the community groups is, like, for example, someone asked here that, oh, wouldn't it be great if we could give feedback on Star Realms Arena format? So I said, all right, great. We'll post a post in the Star Realms fan created group. So that gives us a place where everyone can then get together, discuss, and give their feedback. So it's nice there as you suggest something and then other people give their feedback, so we can kind of see, oh, does this have a critical mass? And there's a lot of people interested in this thing. And we definitely have made changes to our products based on feedback from the community groups.
Yeah. And people in the groups are awesome. They're really nice, supportive. So if you're not in the groups, you should check them out because they're pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh, we also now have a Discord channel, which I'm going to mention because I'll just let you know, I get feedback from the Discord group. So people will say, oh, Debbie, so-and-so said this or that. And so some people like Discord and they're active there. And so we do also, there's a lot of channels. I know it sounds like there's a lot of channels, but we try to have channels where people want to give us feedback. And like I said, every single one of us isn't on every single channel, but there's people in each of the channels and the feedback gets back to us.
Star Realms spoilers?
Yeah. You guys ready to see some spoilers? Let me just see if there's any other. Yeah, I think we've answered most of the questions. Okay, let's go.
So if you have more questions, go ahead and type them in. We're gonna go over some Star Realms cards. We've got a bunch of cool spoilers for the Kickstarter, the new Kickstarter stuff, the stuff that was in the Epic Jungle and Star Realms High Alert. We got some cards here from the First Strike pack. So the First Strike pack was a Kickstarter exclusive pack, and it's got a bunch of cool content in it. And if you don't get everything that if you did not back that Kickstarter, you can always get the Kickstarter exclusive stuff on future Kickstarters we make available. Anyway, so here is we got a nice Machine Cult base with double ally ability. So this one really can ramp up the scrapping. As you can scrap a card from your hand at the start. With the ally, you get to scrap a card from your discard pile, and with the double ally, you can get a serious combat boost. So pretty sweet, pretty sweet outpost there. We've got the War Mech. This one hits like a truck. Obviously with that 10 combat. This card's pretty swingy. Like if you've got the right deck, the ability to put bases from your discard pile on top of your deck can be super, super strong. But if your deck's a little base light, while this card's always going to be good because hitting for a lot of damage is great. If you don't have the bases to go along with it, then you may have some it won't be as powerful as some of the other 8s that you might be able to pick up. Obviously, the ally draw cards, great, and it's got the acquisition mechanic. So basically, this card gets cheaper with the more Machine Cult cards that you've played. Here we've got another piece of tech. A missile launcher. This can be quite powerful. So this gives you the ability to, once per turn, if you have this tech, you can pay trade to get combat, 3 trade to get 3 combat, and that can be super, super useful later in the game. So this is a really awesome piece of late game tech. Early on in the game, it's a little tricky because obviously you'd love to have access to this for later, so you might want to grab it up, but you're spending 4 putting this into play, probably not going to want to activate it for a while because if any trade you spend on this, you're not spending on improving your deck. So Missile Launcher is one of those cards where when it's in the trade row, you and your opponent are both kind of eyeing it and going like, is now the time? Do I grab this now, or do I build up my deck a little more? But yeah, Missile Launcher, quite a spicy piece of tech. Let's see here. Patrol Cutter. This card has acquisition, so it's already cheap, so it can get down to free pretty easily. Nice card, flexible card, giving you trade, combat, authority. So in the Trade Federation style. This gives you all three of your primary resources. So we also have something coming in the app. I don't know if you want to talk about that.
I wanted to mention that before we go to the next card.
Sure.
So yeah, pretty soon we're in the final stages of testing. So people that are in the beta have already been seeing the promo cards from the Frontiers Kickstarter, which I was looking at the graphics trying to pick some cards to show, and I was like, these are awesome.
Yeah.
There's some nobility as well. Let Rob cover some of these cards. But I think probably within the next couple of weeks, this will be available on the digital app. So this is a product which is already available for people who've backed our Kickstarters. It's a Kickstarter exclusive pack. So in physical form, people could already have these, so we're showing these cards as spoilers. Sure. They're not technically spoilers. People who have it have already seen them, but people who haven't seen them, we wanted to cover some of the new things in this set because they're coming to the app.
So really cool. Here we have the Mighty Colossus. So these cards, this is another Kickstarter exclusive pack. This was from the Frontiers Kickstarter, and that Kickstarter had a big, thick pack of promos. In the app, we already have the events from this promo pack, from the physical promo pack. So that was its own expansion in the app, that just the events, and now we get the ships and the bases. So there are a lot of cool ones. So the biggest and splashiest, of course, is the Colossus, our only 9-cost card in the game, and super cool. This is a mercenary ship, so it has the ability to sort of blend with other factions. So when you play it, you choose a faction. It counts as that faction that turn, which of course can help you with your ally abilities and double ally abilities. But also, once you do that, you count the number of cards of that faction that you have in play, and then draw that many cards. So at its worst, it's 10 combat draw card. And it only gets better from there. So, and in the right scenario, just like with Blob World, you can be drawing like 3, 4, 5, 6 cards off of this. So it's the Colossus is a real game ender, really, really sweet giant ship. So fun, expensive card.
And beautiful.
Yeah, awesome artwork on all the realm stuff as usual. Let's see. Next, we have super cool card, the Assimilator. Now, this has flexibility, giving you trade or combat, and it's got a really cool ally ability. So there's some cards in this promo pack where you can, when you ally them, you can then it gives you the option of scrapping the card for a powerful effect. And in this and the Assimilator, you're scrapping a 7-cost thing, so the effect better be pretty good. And as you can see, this one is super cool card. And next, we have an example of the docking mechanic. We have every faction has a card with docking, and these cards, play them, they have an effect. Then at the end of the turn, normally when you put all your ships that you played that turn into your discard pile and all your bases stay in play and you draw your new 5-card hand, this card, if you have a base with a matching faction in play, instead of going to your discard pile, it'll go and get added to that 5-card hand you draw. So for example, if you had one of these in play, then you draw your 5 cards and then get this back, and you'd have a 6 cards at the end of your turn. So the docking mechanic can be really cool. You can get those ships back again and again, turn after turn, if you've got a matching base in play faction wise. And here we have just a new Trade Federation base. Azure 4 gives you authority every turn. So while it's not an outpost, so it's not gonna protect you directly, your opponent's going to want to blow it up because every turn it's just giving you 5. And then, of course, if you can get the ally going, getting some trade, and with the double ally, card drawing bases are always super, super powerful. So that's just a small taste. This set is almost as big as a base set. There is a lot of ships and bases in this set. So it's super cool expansion coming to the app. I believe it's going to be $3.99. Come with scenario content, etc. And so the team is working on it. So it'll be coming to the app soon.
So, and I am seeing all your questions. We're going to go through the questions now. So Rob gets on a roll.
Yeah, I can
go along. Azure 4 is kind of an interesting name. Is there any?
Oh yes. So yeah, I think we might have mentioned that on one of our previous things. It's a little Easter egg. It's a nod to Babylon 5. It was a big
show
yeah, I was a big Babylon 5 fan back in the day. Great old school sci-fi, which was one of the first shows to really establish story arcs instead of episodic stuff. So it was a great piece of sci-fi history. So that's a little nod to Babylon 5.
Okay, someone said they were trying out some trap cards that shuffle into the deck. Not sure. I think these are basically instant damage cards. I'm not sure if that was something they created themselves. So if the video keeps blacking out for you, it's probably because today is the first day of remote schooling for our many children. So we have
Sorry, guys.
We have the highest level of internet you can get in, a suburb, in Boston suburb, which is FiOS, and whatever the highest level is for that. But we have 6 children. We have 7 kids total, but we have 6 people on stream right now using their cameras. The kids are required to have their cameras on. Usually before we live stream, we tell everyone to get off the internet. Like, don't stream, don't, use your camera. So I don't know if we'll have a solution. So please give us feedback if you are having technical issues so that we can keep that in mind. Maybe we can, do something different with our internet here. Anything more planned in the future for Star Realms?
So yes, lots of cool stuff. So the next thing coming up, we've got a new Star Realms set. Our placeholder name for it is Rise of Empire, but it's a prequel to Star Realms, and it tells the story of the Star Empire Rebellion from the Trade Federation. And it's super, super cool. It has, this is pre-Blob invasion. So, alien races have not yet been discovered. And there are a bunch of, in the outer worlds, the Trade Federation has colonies where basically they're generating profit. They're terraforming worlds, they're mining, etc., and they set up colonies to do it. They have a big program where they get people from the core worlds to travel out into space with, usually it's people who are less financially well off, and they have kind of a gold rush mentality of, make your fortune in the outer worlds. But the reality is much harsher, of course. The Trade Federation has been suppressing revolutions for quite a while. But the Star Empire took a different approach. They acted very loyal to the Trade Federation, always paid their taxes on time, no issues. But they secretly built up a gigantic war fleet, and then declared independence, and basically threw out destroyed the local Trade Federation forces. And of course, the Trade Federation didn't want to see they didn't want to lose that colony. But even worse, the Star Empire was trying to convince neighboring systems to join in the rebellion, because the bigger the rebellion, the less likely the the Trade Federation would be able to take back their region of space. So basically, it tells the story of that civil war. There are brand new factions or brand old factions storyline wise, because there are basically these factions that are neighboring governments to the Star Empire, and the Star Empire player. So one player plays the Star Empire, another player plays the Trade Federation. Star Empire players trying to convince these guys to join the rebellion. Trade Federation players trying to keep them loyal. So you've got a trade deck with brand new factions in it, and it's a legacy set. So you'll be modifying the set as you play games. There's different. There's a storyline you go through, and you have the ability to permanently convert some of the ships and bases that you acquire during the game to your faction, be it Star Empire or Trade Federation, so that is coming to Kickstarter this winter. Knock on wood. but yeah, it's completely designed and developed and such as from a game mechanics standpoint. Now we're doing art, graphic design, layout issues, etc. So that set's super exciting, absolutely phenomenally fun to play. When you're done playing it, you end up with a set that is custom because you've changed it through your play, but you can keep playing it over and over. We give you content so that you can basically make a fully playable set that once you're done through the storyline, you have a complete game that you can keep playing afterwards. So that's super fun. We've got a just started the concept stage for another Star Realms base set similar to Frontiers, Colony Wars, or the original Star Realms set. So we have lots of content in the pipeline for Star
There will
Realms.
always be something new.
Yes, yeah, always got new stuff coming.
So feedback from Luke here. He was wondering, when we created the command decks, did we ever think about single faction command decks? Yeah, like a blob command deck.
That is certainly something we can do. So basically,
commander,
so the legendary commanders, these are basically great military leaders from the Star Realms universe. If you play as one of these commanders, you are have a leg up against, or just a regular player. So with those legendary commanders, you can either play as a legendary commander against another legendary commander, or you can play a legendary commander against two players playing regular decks. The current legendary commanders, the 6 that are available in retail, are all dual faction decks, so they use cards of 2 different factions, and they have an easier time triggering ally abilities and such from those factions because of the gambits that they start with and some cards in their starting deck. There is also the Lost Fleet, which is has none of the factions in it, but we could certainly do single faction legendary commanders, triple faction legendary commanders. There's lots of potential for additional legendary commanders in the future. The main issue being that they have their own custom gambits and they have their own custom starting deck, and they have that sort of higher power level, be able to take on two players at once. So that is great suggestion, and certainly something we could do in the future. Nothing currently in the works on that, but super sweet.
Harry needs to save his money. So I think we covered this in a Kickstarter update, but when will I think it was high alert. I had it popped up here. When should people expect to get their high alert? Will Star Wars Kickstarter be delivered by the end of the year?
So
this is also for fans.
So the very frustrating answer to that is I don't know yet. Basically, all the stuff's at the printer now, and stuff has been approved, and it may be printing at this very moment, or it may be on a long wait to print, and I'm trying to get an answer from the printer on exactly when are these going to be ready. I was hoping to have that data for today's stream, but I don't have it yet. I'll be updating the Kickstarter when we have it. So basically, we're at the stage now where we're at the mercy of the printer, and as we mentioned on previous streams, unfortunately, printers are having are kind of jammed up right now. There was a big stop and start thing from the COVID where factory shut down, and then a lot of the game manufacturers are shut down or temporarily shut down, and then now everybody's trying to factories are trying to catch up on all the work that they missed, and so yeah, it's a little bit chaotic in trying to get timelines from the factories, but soon-ish we'll have a better answer next week, hopefully.
This question is a two-part question. The first part's for you, and the second part's for me. Why did Robert shave his beard?
Part one, why did Robert shave his beard?
Part two, Debbie, how do you feel about this situation?
Yeah, I don't know. I just randomly felt like it, shaved it off. Happens sometimes. Some then, randomly grow it back. But the real question is, how does Debbie feel about the situation?
I love Rob without beard.
No.
He gets these. He just decides, and he must do it. So. It'll be back. Don't worry if you're a beard fan. And if not, this happens every so often.
Cycles.
His beard. So, yeah. Okay. I love Epic. Yay. When will the new expansions arrive? Well, we just answered this question with those are with the Star Realms.
Oh yeah, so yeah,
maybe they're with a different printer.
No, it's all the same printer. So basically, it's all files are at the factory. They're in progress, and we also obviously have sets that will be coming into the app over time because the app's behind, several sets.
And they want new sets. It wants to know when new sets will come after this. New stuff. They haven't.
Yeah, I do not know. I don't. Yeah. But yeah, that's. And we do have. Speaking of Epic, on Monday at 7 p.m. In the app. So we have a free Epic app, absolutely free. You can get it for free. When you get it, you get every single card in the game. You can play draft or sealed or constructed as much as you want. You can challenge your friends, online play. Everything's free. The only thing you pay for is cosmetics and some events. But basically, unlimited free play. We have a community tournament on Mondays at 7 p.m. So we're going to be putting another one. Although we just did one, just did it yesterday. A lot of fun. And CJ, Darwin, and I were all playing. So you might have gotten beaten down by or beaten down one of the designers for Epic. And that tournament's completely free. So you can, and it's draft. So if draft's a fun format you can do, even if you haven't played a bunch, you don't need to design a deck ahead of time. You just are picking cards and creating a deck on the fly. So super fun, and we stream that. If you're an Epic player, please join the community challenge. Basically, when you go into play online, there's a little button that looks like a bracket, like a sports bracket. You click on that, shows the tournaments. You can join that tournament. I don't know if we have next week's one's up yet, but we'll get it up shortly. And you can register ahead of time, and then when the tournament starts, Monday evening, you can battle us. And basically, it doesn't matter who you play. If you win your round, you get a foil for each round you win. So pretty sweet.
Yeah, and Katie, someone had asked a question about the Discord server. If you could post a link in here, if you know how to do an invite link, and if you don't, I will post it when we're done chatting. Is there any other updates you want to give on Epic? I guess I'll say that one thing that's been requested is like a single post with all the spoilers. So CJ is sharing spoiler cards when he streams. So we are working. That should be done like today or tomorrow on a post which has all the cards that have been spoiled from The Lost Tribe, and Guardians of Goanna, so that you can see it all in one place.
Yeah, I did. There's an update on the Kickstarter, which has a ton of them. So if you go to the Epic Jungle Kickstarter, that has the Star Realms cards that have been spoiled, and the Epic cards that have been spoiled previously. And every Monday when we do this tournament, CJ will be streaming and also spoiling a card. And so, and you might, sometimes, like I streamed one game last time. Darwin might occasionally stream a game, and CJ streams, and CJ also spoils one of the new upcoming cards. So,
Star Ranger, I'm glad we're not the only ones that have a large homeschool going on.
Yeah.
How many cards are in the first strike pack?
I don't know off the top of my head. It's on the Kickstarter page, but it's a pretty sizable pack. It was like, I think, around 20 cards in that pack, but I'll have to double check.
Yeah, a lot of times we have that in the FAQs on the Kickstarter page. Yeah. Okay, Rise of the Empire sounds incredible. It is awesome.
Yeah.
Eric's interested in Star Realms novels or novellas. We are also interested in this, and we're working on a project on that. Is it possible to do an extra deck, like 2 cards, same faction? Not sure what this.
Same faction making 2. Yeah, I'm not sure what that question is. Although it does remind me of the mechanic in the Rise of Empire, where you can, when you are acquiring cards of these old factions, you can pay extra to convert them to your faction, and that makes them into a dual faction card. So
and then there was also this feedback as a variant. So and you can read that while I make a comment on. Someone asked, like, how do we give feedback for this kind of thing? Like, if I have an idea for a card, I mean, a lot of times people will discuss stuff in the group. I mean, we've discussed the possibility of like having a formal way for people to give feedback. We don't yet have that, but we hope to have that soon. Now that, like, with us not traveling so much to conventions, we have had time to do some things like this live stream that we never had time to do before. So that is on my list of things that, like, I want to get done.
So we have
travel starts up.
On this particular one, we have a gambit that has a similar mechanic that basically you choose a faction, everything that faction costs less. But obviously an ability like that could be attached to a ship or to a base. That's possibly cool idea. Definitely possible.
Quackalope says, hi Jesse. Rachel likes my glasses. So these are my backup crazy glasses. My really sparkly ones broke. So these are my backup pair. I think, yeah, I mean, we might have I think we've answered most of the questions, but I'm just looking at the time, and you have an appointment you need to get to.
I have to get one of my kids to the dentist now. So, we
I don't want to say that, but yes. Yeah. So we need to wrap up, but I love that you brought a lot of questions. We love to answer questions. That's like the best thing we can do here, is make sure you have all your questions answered, because that was like part of the goal of this. And we try to come up with, what are we going to talk about this week? Some interesting things. And if there's topics you would like to see us talk about that we haven't covered, I know we don't cover every game every week, but we try to mix it up and cover all the games some of the time. So if there's a specific topic or set, or how we run something in the business that you're particularly interested in, comment below, because we do try to mix it up and cover different topics each week. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.